Hi, I'm Daniel, and my next longer video needs more time, and this Futurama run has ended, so I decided to give a brief review for some of my thoughts. I don't want to go too much into specifics of each episode, since I made a community post each week reviewing a new episode, and I made a rank of these episodes like I did for the Comedy Central revival. How this video does will probably determine if I rank these 10 or wait till next 10 to rank 20 episodes. Anyway, this was made for Hulu, but released on Disney Plus in the UK on the same day. I would worry they wouldn't do this because VPN could stop you getting Hulu if they already have Disney Plus. But it shows they thought about distribution. I was a bit skeptical, but also partially excited to see how this reboot would turn out. So let's discuss pros and cons with Futurama's fourth era. Something I don't know how to feel about, the animation looking the same. It tries to act like nothing has changed, and after 10 years I would probably prefer more visual distinction. That's not against the animation, it looks nice as visually pleasing moments, just this shows the point of acting like before. This already has to deal with undoing meanwhile ending in PI time loop. In the premiere, they just have Farnsworth explaining at the start, then have a different first episode that is a bit meta. Stuff I don't like is how it's unclear if time passed. The previous season had time passed clearly in universe, we're representing our year just 1,000 years later. When it was 2010, they were in 3010, and Fryer spent 10 years in the future. This keeps the 3023 idea, but kinda dances around where the time has passed. I guess the events of Meanwhile have altered the timeline, but I don't make how this is used as a way to now address how Fly is now 40 something. And what happened during the 10 years in between, this feels cheap. If you want further proof, Dwight Conrad should be over 20 years old, but he's not. But on a positive note, he has probably done more this season than the rest of the show. Speaking of characters' kids, Amy and Cliff now have kids, and I like that status quo change. These episodes have more of a purpose of following up an old thread, with the all great sequel episodes. The Parasite's returned and the storyline is different, but keeps the emotional strength just with a different character. There's also another Christmas episode that I can easily associate as the third in a trilogy. Those are the two episodes I can sit aside the upper half of my rival year ranking. Some of the other episodes feel weirdly paced and not doing much interesting with the Futurama setup. How the West Was 1-0 had so many plots, and if had more time like a movie and it could have worked, but the episode is such a mess with everything going on and nothing feeling conclusive. I think the comedy writer is mostly on point and has some actually good jokes. However, that can't save some lazy written stories, and I doubt they were aged the best. Like the pandemic episode, it had funny moments but was such a surface level telling of it. Aside from making the virus cause anger, it's not creative, and I only find some of the jokes funny because I was there during 2020. Currently, this isn't going to be an issue since 99.9% of people watching will remember the time. But in 10 years, not being old enough to remember the time will make this episode worth yes. They go so specific that it's not timeless in any way. The modern concepts aren't too bad in theory, but not much is done with them. It just feels like a different world to the 2000 idea where future the show started in. If COVID happened and was apparently still ongoing, why wasn't it mentioned before? Why do streaming services exist when they only watched cable before? The show wasn't always super creative in every aspect of the future. Like TV being practically the same after 1,000 years, but it had charm to it. I found mostly 10 episodes okay, and none are bad, but they aren't memorable either. The show is still clearly looking for its identity, or reason to come back. I guess the previous era took time to get going with the first 4 episodes. I don't like Kindergarten of the Year or Proposition Infinity, and the other two are a bit flawed. However, if followed up by the Da Vinci Code, which is a very fun and creative concept that can be thought about after. And I don't even need to explain UFO Inspection and Great Fear of J4I. They are both top 10 material paced so early on. That got its identity together in a half season, while this still hasn't. This reboot season is fine, but I hope the next batch episode improves upon this. In conclusion, I hope you enjoyed this video of viewing Futurama. This hasn't justified its existence yet, but it doesn't need to. I just hope it produces more great episodes and ends with a solid finale. I do see again another 20 renewed or a movie after, but I don't see this lasting super long. Also, is this season 8A or 11? I don't know what's better, which is why I avoided saying that. These multiple season orders are confusing. By the way, Disenchantment is still great, and that recent 10 episode season is far better. It's not even close. I already talked about that before. If you enjoyed this short review, consider pressing subscribe and watching more. The end.